Hello students, welcome again to the Management Science class. This is second video in the online lecture series on the topic calculation of floats. In the previous video, I discussed about calculation of earlier start time, finish times, later start time, finish time, and how to determine critical path with the help of this example. Now, the same example is used here too for the purpose of calculation of float. Now after we have calculated the earlier start time and finish time, this was the network that we had constructed in the previous lecture. So you can observe that this was the critical path 1, 3, 6, 8. It had 3 critical activities 1, 3, 3, 6 and 6, 8. And why they were critical? Because they don't have any flexibility, they don't have any float. And how do we know that? Because their earlier start time, finish time, later start time, finish time are same. Above and below the arrow, both the values are same. So they do not have any float. So in other words, we can say that the critical activities, they do not have any flexibility. We cannot delay them, otherwise the whole project gets delayed. So the non-critical activities, they can be delayed. It means the same thing, na? So we can delay these activities. But delaying does not mean that we can delay them for any amount of time period, because then obviously the project will not be completed in 22 days. So how do we know that for how much time an activity or a non-critical activity can be delayed? To answer this question comes the concept of float. So float means any slack than an activity has, means the time period the activity has for which it can be delayed. That means that particular activity does not need to start at the given point of time. It can be delayed for 2-3 days or the number of amount of time that the activity has. Why do we need to calculate float? Because the critical activities, they cannot be delayed. So sometimes if it seems that the project may be delayed because of unavailability of some raw material or labor or any other resources, so those resources can be utilized or taken from the non-critical activities. So for that time, non-critical activity can be delayed. So we need to calculate the float. Critical activities do not have any float, which means that they have to be completed on the time period, on the scheduled time period. Otherwise, the project stands delayed, which may result in some type of cost, penalty cost, etc. to the company. The floats are of 4 types: total float, interfering float, free float and independent float. And we have to calculate all these 4 type of floats for all the activities given in the question, like from A to K, whether they are critical activities or non-critical activities. We have to calculate the floats, all of the floats, 4 different types of floats, or as given in the question. So that has to be calculated. Now how it is to be calculated and what is meant by it, that I will explain it now. Total float, the first type of float, it is the amount of time by which an activity can be delayed without delaying the project completion time. It is the total time that the activity has for which it can be delayed. For example, like if we want to calculate the total float of activity D, we have to calculate for all the activities, but for now I am taking example of only one activity D. How we will calculate the total float? There are 3 ways of calculating total float, 3 formulas. You can use any of 3 and it is very simple. What we have to do is we have to subtract from latest finish time the earliest finish time, okay, or from latest start time, the earliest start time, or from latest finish time we will subtract earliest starting time minus the duration. So we have three formulas to find out the total float. In this case it will be 14 minus 5, that is 9. So if we see the formula, this was the formula. Latest finish time of the activity in question, I stands for the activity in question for which you want to calculate the float. So latest finish time was, for this activity D, it was 14 and this was 5. So 14 minus 5 is 9. So total float is 9 for activity D. Similarly, the total float for other activities can be calculated. Second type of float is interfering float. It is that part of the total float which causes a reduction in the float of successor activities. What does this mean is, we will take the same activity D. These are the successor activities and these are the predecessor activities of D. D का successor है I और इसका predecessor है A. Interfering float हमें क्या help करता है calculate करने में? Because if this activity consumes the total float, it may affect the float of the coming succeeding activities. उसको affect करेगा. तो what is the amount of float that this activity can utilize without changing the float of the succeeding activities is known as interfering float. So it is that part of the total float which causes a reduction. So if you utilize that float, it will reduce the float of the succeeding activities. And the formula is this: latest finish time of the activity in question minus earliest start time of the succeeding activity. जो next activity है उसका earliest start time उसमें से subtract करेंगे तो हमारे पास interfering float की value आ जाएगी. In this question we are taking the activity D. तो activity D का latest finish time है 14 और earliest start time जो है next activity का है that is 13. So the interfering float is 1. So out of total float of 9, if this one day is consumed, then it will affect the float of the coming activity, succeeding activity. Third type of float is free float. Free float is that part of the total float which can be used without affecting the float of succeeding activities. यानी इस वाली float से opposite. इन दोनों को अगर हम add कर दें तो that will result in total float. So एक तो सिंपल फॉर्मूला यही है, 9 माइनस 1 कर दें तो हमारा फ्री फ्लोट आ जाएगा 8, बिकॉज फ्री फ्लोट प्लस इंटरफेयरिंग फ्लोट इज इक्वल टू टोटल फ्लोट. तो 8 प्लस 1 विल बी इक्वल टू 9. अदरवाइज वी कैन यूज दिस फॉर्मूला ऑल्सो. अर्लियर स्टार्ट टाइम ऑफ सक्सीडिंग, J स्टैंड फॉर सक्सीडिंग एक्टिविटी. We will subtract it from this the earliest finish time of the activity in question. The activity that is in question is D. तो D का हम earliest finish time लेंगे and earliest finish time of activity D is 5 and earliest start time of J, earliest start time is 13. 13 minus 5 value is 8. So 13 minus 5, 8. So this is the free float. Means if D activity, इसका total float है 9. If D activity consumes 8 days, 8 days के लिए अगर ये delay हो जाती है तो succeeding activity के float पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ेगा. It will not affect the float of activity I. But if one more day is consumed, which is the interfering float, then that will affect the float of the succeeding activity. For example, if it is not started on day 2, let's suppose it consumes 9 days, all of the total float. So it will start on 11th day. 11 plus 3, it will end on 14th, and it will start on 14th. Okay, 14 and this will become 16. Now you can say if this becomes 14 and this 16, the above values will become similar to the lower values, and it will become a critical activity. And critical activities do not have float, so they cannot be flexible, they cannot waste time, otherwise the project gets delayed. So it becomes critical. Okay, so the total float includes free float as well as the interfering float, and this is how it is calculated. There is one more other type of float which is called independent float. Now what is independent float? It is the amount of float time which can be used without affecting either the head event or tail event. That means head event is this and tail event is this. That it is that amount of the total float which will not affect the float of either the succeeding activity or the preceding. दोनों ही activities के float पे असर नहीं पड़े, वो amount जो है that is called independent float. And how it is calculated? The formula is given. Earliest start time of following activity means the next activity minus latest finish time of the preceding activity and duration of the present activity. In this case we are taking activity D, and for activity D, earliest start time of the next activity is 13 minus latest finish time of preceding activity is 11 minus the duration of this activity, duration is 3. So this comes out to be -1, or we can say 0. -1 means 0. There is no such independent float available. So the amount is 0. Now I have written all the activities here and their duration, their earliest start time and finish times, their latest start time and finish times. I have calculated the floats, the 4 floats, total, interfering, free and independent float for D activity. You have to now calculate all the 4 floats for all the activities and take a pic of that answer and send it to me. I will see how much you have learned from this video. If there is any problem in understanding the video, message me, I'll help you out. And in the next class, we will discuss about the PERT. PERT is Program Evaluation Review Technique. So this finishes our concept of critical path method, जिसमें हमने सीखा है कि नेटवर्क कैसे डेवलप करते हैं, बनाते हैं, how to analyze the network, how to determine the critical path, and how to calculate the float. This concept of float is important from both practical point of view as well as theoretical point of view. So any type of question can be asked on this topic. That's it for today. Thank you.